A family photo, full of laughter and sunshine. A perfect moment, right? But like a photograph, moments fade. One day, the laughter stopped. The front door closed, and with it, a chapter of our lives. My father, a man who couldn't stay in one place, was gone. I remember watching my mother ere back to us, her shoulders shaking with silent sobs. She didn't want us to see her pain, but we did. My brother, Leon, and I, we were just kids. But in that moment, seeing our hero crumble, we grew up. We looked at each other, and without a single word, a promise was made. A silent, unbreakable vow. We would be her protectors. We would be the reason, she smiled again. That promise became the soundtrack to our childhood. It wasn't about grand gestures at first. It was in the little things. It was Leon, barely tall enough to reach the counter, meticulously making toast for her breakfast in bed, burning the first 3 slices but getting the 4th one just right. It was me, armed with a box of crayons, drawing endless pictures of a smiling sun, a smiling house, and a smiling family of 3, just to pin them on the fridge and see that small, tired smile appear on her face. We learned to be quiet when she had a headache, and loud with laughter when she seemed distant. We took over the chores. She was too exhausted to do washing dishes, attempting to fold laundry, and even trying to fix the leaky faucet with my dad's old toolbox. We failed a lot, but we never stopped trying. Ouvre-moi son tea, filled with expensive toys or fancy vacations. Instead, it was filled with something far more valuable: love and effort. Birthdays were celebrated with lopsided, homemade cakes and decorations, crafted from construction paper and glitter. Christmas meant handmade ornaments and gifts we'd saved up our pocket money for weeks to buy. I remember one year, we bought her a simple blue scarf. It probably cost less than $10, but she wore it every single winter, telling everyone with pride, "My boys got this for me." Each passing year, each shared holiday, each quiet evening spent doing homework at the kitchen table while she cooked. It wasn't just time passing. It was our bond, a 3-stranded cord, twisting together, becoming stronger, unbreakable. As we grew from boys into teenagers, our roles evolved. The promise we made was no longer just about making her smile. It was about easing her burdens. I got my first job at the local grocery store, and Leon started a lawn mowing business in the neighborhood. Every dollar we earned went into a shared jar, not for video games or new sneakers, but for the bills piling up on the kitchen counter. We saw the worry etched on her face, the way she'd stare at those envelopes, and we wanted to erase it. We learned to read her moods, to know when she needed a hug, when she needed space, and when she just needed someone to sit with her and watch her favorite old movie without saying a word. We became her confidants, her handymen, her financial partners, and most importantly, her boys. Through scraped knees, first heartbreaks, and graduation ceremonies, the 3 of us were a team. Always. The transition from teenagers to young men was a blur of late-night study sessions, part-time jobs, and big dreams. But the goal was always the same, crystal clear in our minds. It wasn't just about being successful for ourselves. It was about building a future where our mother wouldn't have to worry another day in her life. Leon went into construction, his hands, once clumsy with tools, now skillfully building things from the ground up. I found my footing in finance, learning how to make money work for us. The days were long, the work was hard, and there were times we felt like we were running on empty. But then we'd call her. We'd hear her voice, always so full of encouragement and belief in us. And suddenly, we had all the fuel we needed. "I'm so proud of you," she'd say. And those 5 words were worth more than any paycheck. We were building more than careers. We were building a new life for her. And then, the day came. The culmination of all those years. All that effort, all that love. It was a perfect autumn afternoon. We drove her out to a quiet, tree-lined street, her eyes gently covered by a silk scarf, a much nicer one than the first one we gave her. She was laughing, asking where on earth we were taking her. We led her up a stone path, the scent of fresh-cut grass and blooming roses in the air. We stopped right in front of a beautiful house, with a big front porch and a garden just waiting to be tended. "Okay," I whispered, my heart pounding in my chest. "You can look now." Leon gently untied the scarf. She blinked, her eyes adjusting to the light, and then they fell upon the house. For a moment, She was silent, confused. Then, we held out a set of keys, dangling from a simple ring. Leon's voice was thick with emotion as he said, "This is yours. Mom, you never have to work again." The silence was broken by a soft gasp. Tears, not of sorrow this time, but of pure, unadulterated joy, began to stream down her face. It was the most beautiful sight I had ever seen. She looked from the house to our faces, her expression a mix of disbelief and overwhelming love. She didn't say anything. She just wrapped her arms around both of us, pulling us into a hug so tight it felt like she was trying to merge our three hearts into one. We stood there, on the porch of her new home, just holding each other, crying and laughing all at once. All the burnt toast, the crayon drawings, the part-time jobs, the sleepless nights, it all led to this single, perfect moment. The promise we made as little boys, in the shadow of a closing door, was finally fulfilled. The final chapter of our story isn't about struggle. It's about peace. It's the sight of our mother in her garden, her hands in the soil, a contented smile on her face as she tends to her roses. It's finding her curled up in a comfortable armchair, lost in a booth, the afternoon sun streaming through the window. It's the sound of our laughter filling the house during our weekly family dinners, sharing stories and making new memories. One evening, we were looking through old photo albums and found that first family picture, the one from before. Leon had an idea. We set up a camera in the new living room and recreated the photo. But this time it was different. It wasn't a fading memory of what was lost. It was a vibrant, living portrait of what we had built. Just the three of us, happy, whole, and finally, at peace. For the woman who gave us everything, we hope we've finally given her the world she deserves. Thank you for watching our story.